Welcome to Your Inspired Journey. I'm Carla Andrews, and I have the wonderful pleasure of being here with Tiffany Johnson. She is a survivor from a major accident that she's going to talk to us about, where she was able to really connect with her inner voice, to be able to take the courage to live life to the fullest after such a tragedy. But what's most important is now that she's helping others do the same, and she's helping others take those positive steps in living a better life, not only for themselves, for their family and their community. Welcome, Tiffany. I can't wait to introduce you to our community.
Thank you so much for having me, Carla. I've been looking forward to this for some time.
I'm glad. Well, I hope we can live up to your expectations, right? But I'm so excited that you're here with us because I mean your story sounds it sounds like something out of a movie, really.
Yeah.
I will let you share with us a little bit more of how did you get to this journey where now you're helping others, finding that inner voice and connecting and having that courage to really just be brave enough, because I know that's the line of thread that you use through your programs, is being brave enough to take those steps to become that better version of yourself. Share a little bit about what happened. What is your story?
My story starts some time ago. It starts when I was 17 and I was about to leave high school. And I had all these options laid out in front of me of what I could do with my life. And I felt like there was a missing piece of me. And I think as young adults, we're really confused about what's going to happen in our life. We have these great expectations, these ideas of who we are and what we're going
I
to
know.
achieve. And I thought that I would find this missing piece of me if I moved interstate. And so I went to university. I'd actually got accepted into one of Australia's top fine arts colleges because, as all your audience will hear, I'm very much an Aussie with my accent.
That's
And
right. She's from Australia. Tiffany's from Australia. The Tim Tams.
yeah, I love a Tim Tam. The Tim Tams are my,
Caramel Tim Tams are
oh,
my
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been taught. I have friends from Australia, and they've already taught me that how you drink from the straw, like a straw, your hot
Yeah.
chocolate.
Uh-huh. That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't go to this fine arts college because I didn't think I was good enough. I thought that the
Mm.
letter of acceptance, they'd made a mistake. And so
Wow.
yeah, which I reflecting on that now is like, wow, I can't believe that I really thought that. How could I have thought that I wasn't good enough? I wasn't brave enough.
Mm.
Went to university, and a couple of years in, I met a man. I was working, making my own way. And this man, as I was making his morning coffee, just took my breath away. Do you remember, Color, that very first time that you saw someone in your life when you're quite at that young adult stage
Yeah.
and those feelings inside of you stir that you don't even realize that these things really exist? And within a
Yes.
week, we'd moved in together and I was head over heels
Within
in
a
love
week.
within
Within
a
a week.
oh,
Wow.
within
That
a
was
week.
fast.
Oh, yeah. 3 months into that relationship, that beautiful whirlwind love romance had turned into a toxic, heated mess. And now that I was
Mhm.
interstate and so far away from home, I had absolutely no idea how to get out of it. 2 years
Mm.
went by and we'd had a death in our family, and I was finally allowed to go home. And so I
Mm.
went home and I stood in my childhood bedroom on our family farm. I grew up in the country in rural New South Wales. And I looked in the mirror in my bedroom that I'd been a little girl in. And I saw this woman that I didn't recognize.
Mm.
I had become anorexic. I'd stopped eating. I was riddled with shame and self doubt, high anxiety. I was consumed with this sense of, I don't know how to get out of this, and I don't know who you are. And in that search to find that one piece of me, I lost every single piece of me.
Wow.
Within a few days and time with back in my family, I started to sort of put some pieces of that puzzle back together and realize that yes, I could actually leave. And I went back to our love nest to break up, and I found him in bed with two of my friends, which was a blessing because it meant that I finally, even though I'd given myself a little bit of permission, I now had finally given myself real permission to finally leave. And I
Yeah.
did. And I went to a tropical island, but I was still riddled with shame because I had this expectation on me that I could achieve more, that I could do more, and that I'd let everybody that I loved, I'd let them down because I hadn't amounted to what I thought that I should have amounted to. And I was drinking far too much alcohol because I just couldn't face the reality of who I'd become. I was walking home.
You were numbing the pain.
I was
Hmm.
absolutely numbing the pain. And I think a lot of people do that
Yeah.
in every different situation in life. A lot of people reach for the bottle to make that all go away. And I was definitely in that camp. Throughout my time on this island, I had started to receive phone calls from this boyfriend with the promises of things are going to get better. Let's get back together. I promise it will never happen again. And that same wheel started to turn. I was walking home from work one night on the island and two men were following me and I was nearly raped. And I managed
Mm.
to escape and I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And so when the phone call came the very next day and he said he was going overseas, I said, do you want to book a ticket for two? Because I thought it was better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. And so we went overseas together and, you know, the promises and the love, and we'll get married one day and it will be amazing. And, you know, I love
Yeah.
you. I love
Yeah.
you. This is
Yeah.
what, you know,
Yeah.
this wonderful romance. Let's get a bank account together and everything will be fine. And we're going to get married. But what I soon learnt was that that was never going to happen and nothing was ever going to change. I was going through my backpack one night trying to work out what on earth I was going to do. I was now on the other side of the world. I was in this relationship and I had no idea how to get out again. How
Mm.
could I have been so stupid? I was so mad with
Yeah.
myself. And a letter fell onto my bag and it was covered in all these love hearts and it had this Australian stamp on it and it smelt of perfume. And I was like, what is in that letter? I've got to know what's in that letter. And so I opened the letter like so naughty because I never did anything naughty. I was always such a good girl.
Yeah. The
And
good girls.
yeah, that's it. And so I opened this letter and it was from his married girlfriend back in Australia, thanking him for the
Mm.
plane ticket that he had bought her to go and meet him overseas. And when would I be gone? When were they getting, when would he get rid of me? In very
Wow.
colourful language. And I decided there and then enough was enough. And I went and checked on phone banking because this is back in 1999. All my money was gone. I knew where it had gone. And I finally left once and for
Mm.
all. And until you're in that situation and you've been manipulated in that way, it's very hard to explain how you fall back into that trap again. But these people are very, very good at getting you to feel those feelings that you're longing to feel and connecting to that very first sensation that I had all those years ago. So when I finally left, now completely with self-doubt, high anxiety again, like all of those feelings that I felt before, the shame was even intensified, even more so now. I was on the other side of the world, had no money and nowhere to go. I rang home crying to my parents. And in
Mm.
all of this time, I had never told them the true nature of this relationship. I'd never told them the toxicity that had gone with this relationship. And I just told my mother that all my money was gone and I had no idea what to do and I was coming home. And my mother's very gregarious, bubbly, happy person. And she said to me, well, darling, you can't have gone to the other side of the world and had a terrible time. Go and book a Kentucky tour. Meet people your own age. Go out there and live. Live. And I was like, oh, you
Wow.
know, bawling my eyes out on the phone. And she said, just go and book yourself in a nice hotel and we'll sort it out. Go and book something tomorrow. And so I did. I booked a Kentucky tour. And a Kentucky tour is a bus tour. It's aimed at 18 to 35-year-olds. It's like a speed dating of around
Hmm.
Europe. And I know they do it in the States as well. And they do it all over the world. So I got on this bus within a week and I didn't have the right paperwork. I didn't even have a sleeping bag. I didn't have any of the right gear. It was a whirlwind trying to get ready for this trip. And I held the bus up by 2 hours. When I got on those steps to get onto this bus, I just wanted to crawl under a rock all the yahoos from all the guys at the back of the bus. It was like I was back teenage years. Yeah, you know, woohoo, right? And everyone's clapping and cheering because I've like held everyone up. My great first impression. I've got to spend a month with these people. Slowly over time, those onion layers of myself started to fall off and fade away. And I was constantly on this search of self-discovery. Who am I? What do I want in my life? Why has this happened? Where am I going? What am I doing? So it's this constant unraveling in my mind. We were driving through Tuscany and everyone was asleep on the bus. And it sounds incredibly romantic and beautiful. And it was. The fields were all sunflowers. And I had never seen anything so beautiful in all my life.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, just magical. I wanted to share it with someone, and everyone on the bus was asleep. And I looked up over one of the seats, and this other girl looked up, and she was the only other one awake on the bus. And this is such an important moment in the whole story. This woman came and sat next to me, and her name was Cassandra. And we'd never spoken before, and our souls just started to pour out to each other. And it was the first time I'd felt accepted and loved for all of me in a very long time from a complete stranger. And her and I are still best friends to this day.
Wow.
We got to Switzerland.
Sometimes that's how you find your friends. You know,
Yeah.
just it's a divine connection.
Absolutely a divine connection. And those friends are the people that hold you up in the times that you need, and they stand with you when you're down, and they are just such a fundamental part of your journey. And Cassandra absolutely was for me, and I was for her as well. We got to Switzerland and we went up to Jungfrau, which is the highest train station in the world. It's in the Swiss Alps, and I had never seen snow. And if you're in Florida, you don't get much snow there either. Where I grew up, there was no snow.
Really?
It was hot. And
maybe twice in the last 10, 20 years. I don't know.
yeah, right. So when I saw this snow and these mountains, I finally realized what it was to live a life where I could be me. I thought to myself, if these mountains can stand the test of time, if these mountains can withstand dinosaurs and blizzards and mankind, then maybe it's okay to have made the mistakes I've made. Maybe it's okay to be me. Maybe it's okay that I felt shameful. Maybe it's okay to,
it's
for
okay.
everything. Yeah, maybe it's okay. And maybe it's okay to love who you are. Maybe that's okay. And it was so incredibly liberating. And it
I
was
can only imagine. Yeah.
what I'd first gone searching for, all those years ago, was that missing puzzle piece of me was self-acceptance of myself, of loving all of me, accepting all of me.